Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jamie. And tonight we have a podcast dedicated to, drumroll please, Witchcraft for beginnings and endings. Now I have to say, I started this podcast out not with that title, you guys. I really wanted to talk about the elements, but so much more came up for me and how to bring in the elements and how we work with them and what they're for and
how we use them.
I mean, the elements are where I find the root of my practice.
And the really elements, just to remind anybody who is not sure what we mean when we say elements, we're talking about fire, water, air, earth.
Yes, ma'am.
Those elements.
That's it. That's what we're talking about. So because we're going to bring in the elements, there was also this sort of fifth thing. And you can think of elements like adding spirit. Okay, yeah. And I do. I have spirit in here. It's the last point that we're going to talk about. How do we add in that fifth element, right? Because the pentagram, the pentacle, it's the 5.
Yep.
But when we're dealing with learning the elements, there are 2 things. And this is what tripped me up and why I chose this podcast to be titled Beginnings and Endings, because when we're using the elements, there are 2 ways that we use them: to draw things into us or to send things away from us. Mm-hmm. Because that is where
beginnings and endings.
That's our thing.
We're done with this and we're going to push it out of our life, or we're ready to start new and we want to bring it into our life, like love.
Yeah, and there is
another one like love too. Like, I'm done with this relationship.
Yeah, how about self-love? Fuck regular love, let me self-love. Like, you turn it inward.
Exactly.
So there was this really interesting word that came up for me, which was like a sacred boundary space, like you're crossing a threshold, so sacred thresholds. All of that felt really fucking fancy, honestly, just pure honesty. It sounded like fluff. It didn't resonate with my real language. I don't say that, but it is thresholds, if you wanted to call it that, like doorways. Now, doorway I can get down with.
Yeah.
A door is open, a door is closed.
Mm-hmm.
We hear those things when we talk metaphorically about our lives. When one door closes, another opens, things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're combining, talking about the 4 elements and later spirit or divine, but also sort of the ending and beginning of things. So that's where we're at. I know that's a big introduction to a topic because I'll tell you what, I want everybody to think about it. If you had a podcast, you have to fucking label and title these things. And sometimes that is like the hardest part because you know what you want to talk about, but you're like, do I call it this like paragraph worth of things I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Titling a podcast is not that easy, I guess.
Sometimes it's not that easy, is it?
It fucks me up.
So what we're talking about here when we talk about endings and beginnings is we're talking about change.
Yeah.
And change, we don't like change as humans. We like things to stay status quo or just where we're comfortable. If we're comfortable in a place, we don't want things to change.
Mm-hmm.
So change is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable.
Change is uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I stole the words out of your mouth.
That's okay. You did. You took them right out of my mouth. You know, some of the things that come up when we think about changing something in our life, even if it's for the good, even if we're going to start school or we're going to go out and find a better job.
Things that are positive.
You know, is the things that come up, the feelings that come up are like doubt, because we wonder, are we good enough for that higher paying job, for that job with more responsibility? Fear, will we be successful when we get that job? You know,
is it the right way to go?
Yeah. Oh, the choice that we have to make. It's like, it's this job or that job.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that can make us just feel like we just want to run away from it all. Because sometimes
guilty. I have to say, I'm guilty number 1 of like, I want to run away from it all.
And you know what does running away from it all look like for you?
Going into my dark hole and not responding to anybody, putting my phone down, sitting on my couch in darkness, like literally getting away from the world.
I'm in my room, in my bed with my dog, phone in one hand, remote control in the other hand.
See, I get rid of the phone.
Oh, you do? Oh,
because people might text me and then that's the outside world.
Well, I'm constantly like reading stuff on my phone. So I
literally disengage from all the things.
Yeah. But another way for me, so I'll ask myself the question. So what does it look like for
you
run? When you run away? Well, sometimes it's hibernating, going in, you know, like closing my door, staying away from people. But I have also been known to literally like run away. Like, I'm out of here. I'm going to the bar. I'm going to go get drunk at the bar.
Ooh, running away like that.
Yeah. And just like escaping, more of an escape instead of hiding.
That's a mental escape.
Yeah.
Right? So you have that physical escape where we stay in our rooms and we kind of like hibernate a little bit. And then there's the mental escape where we do other activities to avoid
dealing and thinking about it and stuff.
Absolutely.
But you know what, witches? We're not here to shrink. We're here
hide.
To grow.
That's right.
We're here to grow. And even though I never am going to say to you, don't run, don't hide, because sometimes we need that. We need that retreat and we need that escapism. But ultimately, we come back and we have to deal with the thing that we're afraid of that causes us anxiety or just worry.
A perpetual problem in our life.
Yeah. So we're going to come back and we're going to deal with that. So that is the topic of our
podcast.
Of our podcast. Yeah.
Do you know what I really love about that and what you just said is that I feel like right here, right now, what we just said is when you have the urge to run away and hide from things, or when you're ready to grow and get through it. I feel like when people are at that magical threshold, that precipice, that decision is when that is sometimes what leads people to witchcraft, because they are looking for another way to process, to deal, to address, to cope, to heal. And I feel like witchcraft and the practice of it can really be monumental for women because it returns us to a cyclical nature, to nature itself, to this cycle within us, to being more emotionally aware and responsible for the things that are going on, to acknowledge the patterns. Like, that is what witchcraft has done for me as a practice. Mm-hmm. It's something that I was able to, like, when everything else around me, therapists, religion, all the places where other people were finding their fucking outs, they were finding their sanctuaries. Nature was my sanctuary, so witchcraft became that almost structured sanctuary, I think. Mm-hmm. That's how witchcraft really helped me when I was in, I think bad times lead us back to our practice.
Yeah. And I'm I would say newer to like the escape into nature and because I lived in Kansas City for 30 years. And, there was too much of the year that there was nothing. First of all, half the year is brown and gray. So like nature, who the fuck wants to go out in the woods when it's all just like, twigs and leaves and stuff. Although actually that sounds really enchanting now.
I bet now if I took you into the woods in that place,
I would totally
I could show you things that now you're like, I have appreciation for that.
I'm like, wait a minute. I was looking at it all wrong.
She has changed. She's only been a witch since she lived in Florida. So she has not experienced that winter time as a witch yet.
Have not. No, because
I would totally do a winter retreat for you now that you're a witch to understand what it looks like when the land is barren and cold and like in hibernation.
Yeah, because that would be really cool. Kansas City, all it did, it was depressing. I felt like it was really depressing, and I didn't, I would read books and, stay by the fireplace or cook or whatever. But yeah, I just, as the words were coming out of my house, out of my mouth, I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I feel like that way anymore. I felt like that way 6 years ago.
Ooh,
when I still lived in the Midwest. But
I think you could totally find peace with the world being like that now, like going into nature with that.
So I did love as soon as everything started turning green, the things popping out. Oh, my favorite time was when we were transitioning from winter to spring, and I would have is it not dandelion
sunflowers?
No, the yellow ones.
Tulips.
No. Oh my gosh. Anyways, the yellow flower that would pop up and it would be in the snow.
Not
it would
tulips?
come up and it's not no, it's oh my gosh.
Oh shit.
It's gonna come to me. It'll come to me later.
Randomly we're gonna say a flower during this podcast. That's the one that she
yes, all of a sudden gonna pop in my head. Daffodil.
Oh shit!
Daffodils. Yeah, daffodils would come up and bloom, and there would be snow, and you just looking at it, you're like, "That's pure magic, right there."
Yeah. Oh, to bloom when it's still winter. I love that.
Yeah.
Did I tell you when I was in Scotland? I guess 2 years ago now. No shit. No, it was when I was just in Wales this past year. I got to see for the first time ever. It wasn't in bulk. Well, it was sort of in bulk season, but in bulk in all the years that I've been a witch, right? And you read we have all the different holiday books and stuff. Okay, so for in bulk, there is a flower that is listed in there that I've always wanted to see in person.
You can't think of the
I
name?
can't think of the fucking name now. Oh my god, that's terrible. It's a little white, a snowdrop. Oh my gosh.
A snowdrop. Another
snowdrop.
thing with the snow.
Yes. And it's these little flowers that they push up and then they hang their little white heads over.
Oh.
And it's called a snowdrop flower. And I'd never seen one in person. And so when Tony and I were over in Wales, and I mean, even in London, I actually looked in London because you fly into London and then you drive to Wales, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, we're here in winter and we don't really travel in winter because we don't like cold. I said, if we can find fucking snowdrops, I was like looking everywhere. I was like, I'm waiting for this because this is the area they grow in. Like, this is the only place I've heard of them. And I got to see for the first time ever, being a witch for 27 years now, a fucking snowdrop flower that I've been reading about forever for this holiday of in bulk. And it made me so incredibly happy. I sat there with it and I examined them all. And hardest thing I ever did, I didn't pick a single fucking one because I wanted to, you guys, so bad, but I was like, no, the bees need this. This is first pollinators, like they have a purpose. But I took so many pictures of this snowdrop. And you know what's in the books, they never show the flower like upright. So when you look at it, it's got all these stars inside of it. It was even more magical than I could have assumed because it kind of looked like an upside down daffodil sort of in my head, like maybe, or what was the other one I mentioned? That was, the tulips. The tulip. Sort of, it's just like up and then down.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck.
I'm going to have to look up snowdrops.
Snowdrops. I'm telling you.
What that looks like.
I got off on a thing.
Yeah, we kind of got off.
Endings and beginnings.
Endings and beginnings. We were talking about winter. Yeah, change.
Reconnecting. How
escapism or
how witchcraft is really pivotal sometimes when you're going through really hard shit. I think that's when people come back to it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
When people have endings and beginnings, I really think that that's when they seek out tarot readers, their natal charts, when they want to do numerology, when they're trying to figure out more about themselves because they're like they start feeling lost. Yeah. We start feeling lost. I'm 100% in this game as well. I start feeling lost. I turn back to the things that are really important. And I got to say, for me, the elements are everything. They're literally like at the base of my practice. I connect so many things to them. But in order to talk about the elements, I first wanted to address that when we're going through the transitions in life, the changes, it is endings and beginnings.
Yep.
And the first thing that I want to mention is we don't have to fix it right away. Just in case you're feeling that, in case you're going through a really tough time and you're like, fuck, how do I fix this? I need to get out of this. I need to, we got to do something about it.
That causes us so much stress when we were feeling like, when we want to change things and then we put the pressure on ourselves to change right this minute.
Fix it.
And we haven't fix it right now because we want to get past whatever it is that we're trying to get past.
Yeah.
And, sometimes we just need to sit with it.
Sometimes, yeah. Figuring it out. Where does it come from? What's the purpose of it maybe? How's it changing
because the sitting with it gives us time to reflect on it, to like process through just, I don't know about you. I think as women, we're pretty much like our brains are always going. It's really hard to turn them off. And so we're always thinking about stuff. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the thinking causes us anxiety and we need to like take a break from that. But sometimes the thinking, as we're thinking through things, we're actually like hashing them out in our head. We're doing the devil's advocate, playing back and forth about how's this thing going to go, this decision that I'm trying to make, this change that I'm trying to make. So
there's nothing wrong with sitting with it.
Nothing wrong.
When problems arise, you don't have to fix it immediately. Sometimes it's good to acknowledge it. And we're going to get into that, especially with water, when you're dealing with the water element. So when I think of the 4 elements, I'm going to do a little mention here where if you want to practice what they call ritualistic magic or high magic or ceremonial magic, this is the more structured side of witchcraft that often, as far as I know, 80-90% of the time follows in the Wiccan footsteps. You would use the elements according to the directions. You don't have to do that, just so you know. The elements do not have to represent directions. They can. If you find that as part of your purpose and practice, do that. It's great, but it doesn't always have to. So when I use the elements, I use them as they are. I don't necessarily use them with the cardinal directions.
I remember
wanted
when
to
I
point
first
that
moved
out.
into this house, setting up altars in each of the directions.
Yeah.
And the altar having like the colors and the
Yeah.
things that were representative of that element. But I had them like in different places in my house. And today I wouldn't do that. I would do it differently.
How would you change?
I would probably just put them all in one place. For one thing, I would have like a space for everything, and then I would arrange it. But at that time, I was like, let me get the east the closest to the east and the south the closest to the south. Because for whatever reason, I had the impression or whatever that's how it was supposed to be.
Oh, that's what you read in a book. Book can't be wrong. It's published by
I think it probably was in a book. It's like, put that altar here.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that. You don't have to follow books. What you do is follow your instinct. And if your gut is like, I want my altar on my coffee table or on my bedside table.
For representing your elements.
Yeah, for representing your elements.
So I will call because you say that, and we are in Florida. Okay, we are on the west coast of Florida. So west is associated with water in the Wiccan tradition. And so for us, water really is to our west. The Gulf of whoever the fuck you want to believe in, Mexico is to the left of us, right? So, or to the west of us, also the left, I guess, if you're facing north. But so that would make sense in our area. Now imagine that you live in Norfolk, Virginia, or up in Boston, your large body of water is actually to your east.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would not necessarily be the air element for you. Maybe you want east to be water. And so there can be fluidity in these things. I think that you go with what feels right.
Yeah. I think a word to eliminate from your vocabulary when it comes to witchcraft is rigid or rigidity.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to be in a box with anything and you have to adhere to something that you read or something someone said. You're free to just zone in and feel it and then decide for yourself, or whatever feeling comes to you, go with that feeling. That's going to be a lot more authentic and meaningful to you than following what somebody else says.
Right.
So
I absolutely agree with that.
Well, let's get into
1000%.
the 4 directions. So we're going to talk about the 4 directions as an anchor and a compass, right? Did you mention compass in here?
Okay. So first off, that was not supposed to be the title. That's where I fucked up, and why that was a little note to myself to say that the 4 directions are linked to the 4 elements. Sorry. So we're using the 4 elements as anchors, not the 4 directions.
Okay. So we're not going to use the compass. We're not going to use compass.
We don't have to. No, That's why I didn't use the word compass, because then everybody has to agree that north is earth and east is air. And
so we're not going to mention direction. We're just going to talk
We're talking about the elements. Yeah. Because directionally, wherever you are and whatever you want the elements to be placed in your house, on your altar, wherever, that is up to you. It being connected to the cardinal directions is more Wiccan inspired.
And what did the cardinal mean? You looked up that cardinal direction.
Cardinal means it doesn't change no matter where you're at.
Oh, okay.
So whereas north would be a cardinal direction, northeast would not be cardinal direction.
Okay. North North Star is always the North Star, no matter where you are in the world.
Technically, don't get me into some things.
We're not going to start with that.
Venus is technically the North Star, and every 18 months it becomes the Southern Star. It's sunrise, and
we're getting off track again. So
many tracks.
But
this is why we don't form hard and fast rules, because nature is fucking unpredictable, and it changes for each of us, and we don't have to follow anybody else's rules. And so when we tell you guys how we're practicing and how we think of things, take what you like, expand on that, research it, always do your own research, and then see what fits and be
just follow your own gut instinct. It's not going to lead you astray. If you just go with what do you feel?
On top of that, guess what? You can change your gut instinct anytime you fucking want to.
And actually, your gut instincts evolve too.
They do.
When
preferences and gut, we are forever changing.
We are forever changing. When we don't realize it, we're changing. Okay.
Now this whole thing, if we were talking about change for this whole thing, we're all evolving. Evolve your practice as you see fit. Right now, we're going to use the 4 elements as the anchor to how I practice. And if this resonates with you, I fucking love that for all of us, that we're all seeing the same things. If it doesn't, be like, what the hell is Jamie talking about? Fuck that. That's not how I see it at all. Love that too. For me, this is what I always come back to when I'm dealing with hard life changes and challenges. I start going through the elements to see which one I connect with, so that as I want to work on things, that's the element that I use to work on things. That's really it. So the first element that we're going to go to is fucking earth.
Yeah.
Earth. Earth is
because
what
we live on it.
We live on it. We are earth. We're physical. We're that physical element.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things that you can relate to the element of earth, but truly it is what grounds you. It is what keeps you here. And speaking
Feet
as
on the
a
ground.
Pisces sun, I have to be rooted in reality and grounding myself, because I often can find myself living out in fantasies and having so many grand ideas that I don't do any of them. I just am like, that would be so great. And I fantasize rather than doing. So being in that earth element of grounding and being fully present in your body, knowing yourself in that way of how you move, step, walk, glide through an arena, like whatever it is for you. But it's also safety in the space that you're in and in your own body. And I say that only because many of us women have dealt with traumatic body experiences like sexual abuse,
physical abuse,
all of the things underneath of that, like the abuse of anything concerning our bodies, judgment from other people and comments and whatever, all the hate. Feeling safe in your body is part of dealing with the earth element. And I don't think that I will ever come to a fully graceful place within myself for that. That will be a work for me for the rest of my life, forever. And I accept that. I just know that when things come up, I go back to that earth element to work on it, for changes, for when I'm feeling uncomfortable, for when I'm 55 pounds overweight, or when I'm, anemic and having to take medication for it. It's like, if I want to deal with the changes that I'm addressing, even as reaching menopause, perimenopause, that's part of the earth element in me. Like, I have to accept the changes in the body and the physical body that my spirit was given. Being fully present in our body.
Wait till you get to be like 20 years older than you are right now. And then you're going into like, you wake up one day and you're like, I'm a fucking senior. How did that happen?
A senior? What?
I'm old. I'm old. I'm officially like,
it can never happen.
According to demographics.
That can never happen to you. You're my
I'm
mother.
not old. I'm not saying I'm old.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying you feel
that.
Yeah. Well, because society puts it on you. It's like, you're old.
See, that's abuse. That's fucking abuse. That's online abuse. That's stereotypical abuse. That's abuse. We don't need to call each other old. No. You know what we are is wise.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not old.
Absolutely.
We're wise. We're just wise.
Yeah, and I have a lot to say and a lot to offer and a lot of experiences to share. So
absolutely.
So we're talking about safety in your body. Focus on your body. Focus on your routines and your physical space. These are things that you can do to help you with
connecting with that earth element.
Connecting with that earth element.
It's also finding when you're going through changes. So say it is a physical body thing. Yeah, focus on your body. Focus on your routines and how you treat yourself. Focus on the physical space that's around you. Is your room a fucking wreck? Is your living room a wreck? Is your kitchen a wreck? Do you really tend to your physical spaces like you should to take care of whatever health things you might have going on? I mean, I'm absolutely not a doctor at all unless I use Google, but we can find things that can benefit us that lean into like taking better care of ourselves. And I love that the fucking internet's available now, because there's so many answers and resources, and there's so many people wanting to give stuff away for free as far as education and, again, resources on that, like whatever you're dealing with life changes. And for perimenopause, I'll tell you one thing that I'm dealing with right now. They want to make me do a fucking mammogram. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't think I'm going to. No, I don't want to. I can get tested by cancer. Yeah, I have. Oh. Yeah, when I was like 38 or 39.
Why do they want you to do a mammogram? Because of your age?
Because it's the VA and they just want to send me for shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 44. But honestly, for me, the easier thing I think would to screen for any kind of cancers is to just do a blood test. That's way more accurate anyways. I've read stuff. So what I did for my own self with that is I read are mammograms really that telling? How helpful are they? And there are people out there that say that, like, yeah, exposing yourself to the radiation is not really worth it when there's blood tests that can be done that find things instead.
I went to the doctor today for an annual physical, which this is only the second annual physical in a row in my whole life. I just don't go to the doctor. So I go to the doctor and we're going to order a mammogram. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, you should have one every year. And I'm like, I'm really resistant to that, but okay, I'll get my boob squished.
You know,
but I don't know that I'll keep doing it every year. I mean, I just don't. I don't know that it's beneficial. And like you said, if there's a blood test that can detect cancer, then
there's blood tests that can detect cancer a lot better than more accurately than the other thing. That's why people don't truly need colonoscopies anymore.
Yeah,
that's invasive compared to what they can do blood testing wise.
Okay.
Look at us getting all into the health stuff of our bodies.
Okay, so we are talking about bodies, but we're also, let's go back to grounding, physical things that you can do. You know, every morning I go to the park and walk my dog, and I take my shoes off and I walk through that grass, and it is a ritual for me to do that. Yeah. And as I walk through the grass and laugh at my dog who just chases the ball like he's a mad person, you know. Or
how present are you in that moment? Do you know what it feels like to be present versus not present?
I think so.
Yeah. So for me, feeling present is like my five senses are truly activated. So I imagine you at the park, and what I imagine being present feels like for you is you can smell the green, you can smell the grass, or like the dew. You can feel the cold. Feel, smell, hear. Yeah. See.
So I am, because it's already hot here at 7:30 in the morning when I take him to the park. What? And so what I do is like I stay in the shade of the tree. There's like a couple big trees, and I stay in that shade. And when I step out of that shade, I'm very much aware of like the difference, just where that shade is. It's that 10 degrees
difference,
you know. And then I keep trying to as Tank. That's my dog. As he starts running and chasing that ball, he starts getting out of breath and stuff. And so I also move him to the shade so he doesn't get too hot. So I try to stay in that shade. But yeah, the dew, the grass on my feet.
So it would be like seeing it, smelling it, hearing
I can't really
the sounds,
smell anything there.
You don't smell fucking grass or like pine or the dog or the ball or nothing?
I can't smell anything.
All right, I challenge you the next time you go down there to activate your sense of smell when you're out.
I'll do that.
I mean, I'm not asking you to taste anything because that would be probably uncomfortable.
No, I wouldn't do that. But maybe I'm just not paying attention. Like,
there you go.
What do I smell?
So that would be a next step to grounding yourself, right? Is to become fully aware in your body. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? What can you taste? What can you feel? That's activating all your five senses. Okay. That is how we can get better in touch with the earth element. One of the things that I did for therapy, because when I'm in an anxiety state, is tapping. And I think at first I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. But if anybody has ever tapped, it's actually super helpful. It's very interesting.
Tell us about this.
There's meridians on your body. So I have one. Oh, I'm trying to show it. There's meridians on your body. And honestly, my hand, so you have your wrists. Yeah. We would tap with the wrists. But truly, it is when I use both hands and I go just above like where your point is on your eyebrows, if you have pointy eyebrows, and just tap. There is something that just do it. Go ahead. There is something when I tap, but usually I'm not talking because it sends me into an immediately relaxed state. And then there's parts of your scalp. Tap on your scalp. Try to hit the same side on both. Do it same time. Tapping, tapping, tapping. Top of your head. You're tapping. And there's something about this that is so flippin' calming. It's crazy.
It does feel relaxing.
It's a whole therapy.
I've never heard of that.
Of tapping? Oh my gosh. I got introduced to that when I got diagnosed with PTSD.
Oh my gosh.
And it was before I did EMDR. It's
listener, watcher.
Listen.
Witches. If you're feeling anxious, try that next time. Is there like
science behind it?
There must be science behind it. There must be things on the internet about it too.
There's meridians across our body. Your right hand is part of your left brain. Your left hand is part of your right brain. And so when you are touching the opposite sides with things, you're crossing meridians.
Okay.
You're disrupting the signals of the normal flow of things. And so all of a sudden your
Which
body's
is the
like,
anxiety you're experiencing at the moment.
So imagine like however anxiety feels to you, where you're either hyper focused on things or you're like way back in your space and you feel very small in it. What happens when you're doing tapping and you're crossing these meridians is that all of a sudden you're like even. That is so fucking weird. I don't have a great way to explain it until you do it and you feel it if you have an anxious moment and then you start tapping and you're like, whoa, all of a sudden I don't care anymore about what's outside of me. My body feels safe. It feels normal. I'm not experiencing
because you've interrupted the flow of
the thought patterns. So the way that memory works is, it goes from, say, perception, feeling, thought, the anxiety, it crosses all of these places, right? And that's how we get to that. Then you're like, ooh, overwhelmed. Ooh, your shoulders go up. You're tight. It's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. When you start tapping, it doesn't allow the thing to happen. You can work through bad memories. Like that's one of the things is my therapist would have me remember the things that were going on and we would talk about them, but I would be like tapping. I would feel the electrical impulses going through and somehow it would disconnect the emotional feeling and the visual thought. They would become separated. And so now when I think of the memory, there's no feeling with it, which is very odd to say, but it helps to not have anxiety over it. Like I can still remember the things, but there's not this dread, anxiety, feeling, hopelessness, despair. I want to cry. I want to scream. I want to shout. I want to kick somebody's ass sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. That was a whole thing on Earth. I love it.
That was Earth.
Earth is holds us.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think grounding is one of the most important things. And when we say get grounded or stay grounded in witchcraft, it's kind of like set your intentions. It's like, what does that grounding actually mean? And what does it actually do? What do you experience when you're grounded? What's it like when you're not grounded? And I think it's like if you're in an anxious state or some kind of hyper elevated state,
changing your vibration with it.
It's bringing you back down it's bringing all of that back down, that energy back down to the ground and just letting the earth absorb it. That's how I'm describing it. I don't know if that's actually a thing.
That is exactly the thing.
That's what it feels like to me, is like you're bringing that all down and you're like, yep, bye.
You're neutralizing it almost. It's like having a battery hooked up and like then you're neutralizing all that energy that's stored so that you don't get the anxiety. Moving right along to air. Air, which we were talking about our minds and our overthinking and all the things.
Yeah, ruminating.
Air.
Ruminating. Do you ruminate? I ruminate all the time.
When we're going through life changes and difficult things, often this is where we get stuck, is we just think and overthink and rethink and overthink. And it's a vicious cycle. Yeah. And we teach ourselves to do this from an early age when we don't know how to address problems. We don't know how to solve them. So we think about it and think about it and think about it. And air is like, what is taking up the space in your mind? Because I have that thing where you wake up at 4 a.m. and you have like immediate anxiety and you start worrying about all the things you didn't do. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why. Yep. So for me, I try to tell my brain like, no, let's not go there. Don't need that. Let's go over here. Does it always listen? Fuck no. My brain is a wild creature that is not tamed. But we can have the ruminating, which is replaying a live situation, something that really happened to us, versus ideas. So sometimes we're so creative as little creatures that we had a bad situation and now we're creating even more bad situations from that outcome. Or vice versa, that we had a good situation and we're creating more good situations from that. So it can play to our favor, but it takes like teaching yourself that. What do you play to more often? Are you creating more good ideas or are you ruminating and thinking about how the downward spiral? I guess that's a way to think about it. Downward spiral or upward spiral? Are we being
I think my tendency initially when something's going on like that is I'm probably downward spiraling initially. First. Yeah, because it's kind of like my go-to response.
Okay.
That I've trained myself through 66 years of living and experiences. But that's me personally.
What does downward spiraling do for you?
Nothing. I mean, well, I'm going to say,
I do know what it does do for us because I was taught the same thing.
oh, well, I guess it doesn't, it does something. Well,
You start looking at plan A, plan B, plan C, plan E, D, F, G, H, I, J, K. You start the spiraling downward. What it does is it's trying to give us more control. Because we're like, if this happens, I'll do this. And if that doesn't work, then I'll do this. Then if that doesn't work, I'll do this. And we start preparing for all the outcomes.
yeah.
That's that downward spiral.
Yeah.
Less often do we go, ooh, this could have a good outcome. And then I'll do this. Oh, and if that happens, then this will happen. Oh, and then I can have this. And the voice goes up. See, and we get happier and happier instead of the downward spiral. And it is literally a trick of the mind. You have to teach yourself which way you're going to go, the direction.
Okay. So what do we do when we're having these, when our mind is, all these thoughts are taking
Way
up
too
space
active.
in our mind? Journal it out. I mean, that's one way to get it out of your head and down on paper, and then you can go back and read it later, which I always find interesting.
It really works to write all of your fears, thoughts, ideas down on paper.
Yeah.
Helps you sleep better, gets things out. And whether or not the fears, the dreams, the hopes come true, it doesn't matter. It just feels better to get it out of your headspace.
I mean, I
It's
can
releasing
remember
it,
being so pissed off at my ex and just writing like a crazy person, page after page after page after page, just pouring everything out because he wasn't listening to me. So,
and you had to get it out of your body.
I had to get it out. I had to get it out of me because I needed somebody to listen to me. So my pen and paper, that was my way of getting it out of me.
Put it out into the world, actually.
Yeah.
I know you think pen and paper, but you literally were able to write that out to get it out into the world so that it existed beyond yourself. So you had validation.
Yeah. The other thing about, because I remember this one that I wrote and I came across it later and I read it and I was like, wow. But I also remember when it happened and how the feeling of getting it out of my system, if you will, and writing it down onto paper gave me a release.
Yeah.
For relief and release at the same time, because it was too much for me to just stay in my head. It just felt like it was going to explode.
You were going to burst.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've done breath work before. So we all know Jamie has anger issues when driving. We all know that. If you've been here at any length of time, Kat has called me out on it so many times. I am very frustrated by the stupidity of drivers on the road. And
we have so many of them here in Florida.
That's just so many. I don't know. They're probably everywhere, but for some reason they seem to congregate when I'm on the road in Florida. I don't know. It's like everybody leaves their house at the same time as me, and they're like, how can we just annoy the shit out of Jamie and cut her off and go slow?
I'm sure that's 25
what they're
thinking.
and 50. It's crazy. Exactly. Right? The world revolves around me, you guys. But
ego,
breath work, breathing through it, and mantras, like, for air, this is the words we speak. This is our breath. This is songs we sing. This is turning on a podcast. This is anything that we can start speaking, singing, saying, getting it out, just fucking getting it out. And so today, of course, not an unusual thing. A bunch of people are on the road pissing me off again. I don't know, just crazy anytime I get on the road. But today was particularly annoying, probably because, I'm on my period and I fucking hate so many things when I'm, gushing blood.
Who doesn't hate so many things when they're, I remember those days. Like, don't even come near me.
I don't know if I should be praying them away or being grateful that it's still happening. And then I don't know. So we're up in arms about that. I don't know. But you know what I said to myself today on the road was I go, Jamie, today's not your day that you get to go fast. That's it. It's just not your day. You need to fucking accept it and just stay behind these slow ass, dumb little fucks and just deal with them. And I did all that cussing when I said it too, because that was my mantra to myself.
And she called people names when she did it too.
To myself, these are words that I'm thinking in my head. And what I did say out loud was, today's not your day to go fast. You just don't get to. So you get to be in third gear. That's it. I was driving my dad's Jeep and I didn't get to accelerate to fourth gear, not fucking once today. That's it. So our speed limit here is 50. Should I have got to fourth gear? Yes. Did I get to? No. Third gear, just waiting because there's no getting past these people that wanted to go slow.
Well, and if
that was it.
Well, And if words don't work, fire.
Oh Lord. On to the fire
We're
element.
on to the fire element.
I don't know. I'm much more careful with fire.
I was, I just had this thing just ran through my head about like a blowtorch. Like, get the fuck out of the way.
Oh gosh. I don't even.
And that rock, because the fire is our next element that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I don't even. There's definitely things that witches do where they try to like focus energy and push it to the car in front of them. I don't even do that. Honestly, it all stays in my own car, and I'm just like, whatever. The universe is. I truly come to this place at some point in my driving where I'm like, the universe doesn't want me to go any faster, and that's okay. I give myself reasons to slow down or to be okay with slowing down, even though I just want to get where I'm going. But it's like a constant thing for me. It's definitely one of the things that I have to work through. And so, maybe I should sage my car. Maybe I should do like a blessing over it. Maybe I should be like, this is the car that just chariots me slowly to places. And so every time I get in it, I'm the slow fuck now, right? Maybe I could be that. Maybe I could be them. Maybe I join them. I can't beat them, join them. Maybe that's what I do. I don't know. I wish I was like just always ready to just go cruising and like just, slow.
We're always in a hurry to get shit done.
I don't know. So our next element that we use in our life's transitions and changes is definitely fire. This is a go-to for me, is fire. Grounding I do every day. I love to walk. But fire, when I'm ready for spell work and ritual work, you guys, fire is my go-to element 100%. Because fire transforms. And I think that when you're at an ending or a beginning, that threshold, fire is just a great way to either end it or ignite something new. Like I feel like it just has
or
that.
ignite. Which one do you want to do with the fire?
I love it.
And of course, candles. I mean, even before you probably knew you were a witch, you probably loved candles. Candles on birthday cakes, candles on whatever.
Fire meant something special.
Fireplaces, bonfires and things like that. We've always I feel like I've always been drawn to fire. I think it's part of, it's almost part of the human existence.
Absolutely.
To be drawn by the warmth of the fire, the glow of the fire, the beauty of the fire.
It's sustenance. We cook our food on it. It provides light in the darkness. Like fire can just be so many things at once. And I love it.
And we're so lucky that we live in a time when the candles are abundant and day, and on sale at every TJ Home Goods store.
Listen, buy all the candles. I've been looking at
so many. I have so many candles.
You can't have too many candles.
I need to burn them though. So
invite me over. I will burn your candles for you.
So some of the things we can do during that time when we're wanting to use fire as transformation is lighting candles. So what are we going to do when we like? I mean, I like candles just for the ambiance. They make me feel calm. Mm-hmm. And then I, of course, love the smells of them. And so it's the calming effect of the fire, the glow of the fire burning. It's pretty, the glass jars that they're all in, everything's pretty. But then also, once the candle gets going and then the room starts filling up with the smell of the candle, because I don't know about you guys, but I always smell. I'm like, what's this one smell like? At the store when I'm picking candles, I'm going, every single one I have to smell and see if I like it before I bring it home. If you're trying to extinguish your ex, you can burn his picture or her picture, his or her picture.
Yeah.
And, let your passion and your feelings be felt with that exercise or that.
With the lighting of it, and doing bonfires. I mean, I like to burn stuff to end things, but I also like to have fires where it's a gathering place too. I have witches over for wine night and we have a bonfire and it feels like a gathering, like we're keeping a relationship or a bonding alive as well. So fire, as much as it can be like, most people, I think of it, it's a destructor, right? It's destruction everywhere.
It can be destructive if it's not controlled.
If it's not, I wasn't going to say respected. I think fire can get out of hand when you don't have respect for it. That's why all of the spell books and everything, they're like, use a fire save, blah, 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 blah. You have to have respect for fire because it can become that destructive force if you're not tending to it and really watching over it. But maybe that's why I like it so much, because it's not idle. You can't just leave it alone like a bowl of water, right?
Yeah.
Like fire has to be paid attention to. It requires
It requires your attention.
It requires attention.
Yeah.
So whether that's extinguishing something or sparking a new idea and really giving into that, every single time I start a ritual or a spell, I have a candle that I light where I invite my team of light in. And it's like, that is how they know I'm ready to do my work. That is my initiation. That is how I start everything. You know, before I even cast my circle or do my protection bubble or anything, that candle is lit first. Like that's how we all know.
Initiation.
It's the light switch that flips everything on that says, we're doing this now, right now. So fire is pretty important for me. That's like a huge part of my practice. And when I burn candles at home, I often don't even blow them out without saying thank you, because it's just so routine to me to be like, thank you, or whatever. I don't even say thank you to anything else. I'm just like, thank you, candle. Like, I don't know. I can't help myself. And even when I light it, it's almost like I think of what I want the candle to bring when I'm lighting it, depending on the room, you know, or it's like, make me feel warm and cozy in my house, you know, like that's just your purpose right now, to light that candle like that. So we're going from this very active, fiery element of fire to water, which Kat and I are both water signs here. So this will be fun. And when I wrote this, we had a nice conversation about water being like, what emotions need witnessing? And Kat goes, well, what do you mean by witnessing? And what did I say?
What do you mean by witnessing?
What emotions need to be witnessed? What do you remember? And if you don't, that's okay.
I remember that what we ended with in that conversation was to observe and not to observe, like to stand outside of yourself or be outside of yourself and look at as like kind of like an uninterested party, that emotion that's going on.
Yeah.
And that is witnessing it. So if you can like get outside of yourself and look at that emotion, like that's witnessing.
Yeah. People say think outside the box, which is similar, because the situation would be in the box or in the reflection of the water, of the mirror, whatever it is. See yourself outside of that, looking at it without the emotion of being involved in it.
Well, I really like, and I don't know where you got observe, don't absorb from, that saying, if you heard that from somebody, but that's something you wrote on my I
did on your kitchen board.
On my kitchen.
When you and Cameron were going through some hard shit.
Yeah, we were going through, because my grandson's been living with me for over a year now. And initially we're both Scorpios. So it's a little, tense at times.
No. No, two signs reflected back at each other? What?
Yeah, he was like a mirror. When I would look at him, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I acted when I was his age. I just can't believe it. Can't believe that was me. That was me.
She's seeing her evolution, and she's seeing like the beginning of her journey.
So witnessing your emotion, like, so observing, but not absorbing.
Right. That means no judgment. That means you're seeing a situation, but you don't have to feel anything about it. You just want to really acknowledge what's going on. Because if we are emotionally in it, which the water element is about emotionally experiencing it, but the beautiful thing that people don't talk about with water is the reflective properties of it, and that it mirrors back to you what could be going on for you, what you could be thinking, feeling from that situation. So in order for us to reflect on that, we literally have to stand back from it and go like, see it on a movie screen, see it in a mirror, see it in somebody else's phone. Like, it has to feel separate from us before we can truly go, oh, wow, now I understand what's going on. Because you have to see it from like outside over here,
Yeah, you have to be detached a little bit from it.
You do. You have to see it without your emotions involved. And then you can place yourself back into the movie scene and then go, okay, so here's how I can respond to that. Because if we're in it and we don't reflect and we don't see, we will act emotionally, which is usually things that are very disruptive and not in our best interest, because we're not using our head, or we're not using our analytical thinking, or we're not understanding why are we being put in this situation in the first place. Being able to stand outside of that and look at it and go, oh, look at this little scene playing out. Okay, let me gather all of the information, and then I can put myself back into it and make better decisions, have a better understanding, instead of just acting emotionally because you're in it. Yeah. That's the observe, don't absorb. And we want to feel the feelings. When we're using the water element, when we're in that change, when we're in that transition, we want to feel the feelings. This is why I said in the very beginning, you don't have to fix everything right away. Sometimes it's good to just sit with the feelings to understand why this is going on or how this feeling can change you. I've had instances where my independence was taken away. And for me, being raised as a very independent person, that was debilitating. It made me want to freak out. It made me want to run away. It made me want to sabotage everything in my life. And yet my independence being taken away, even though it sounds like a bad thing, it wasn't a bad thing. I was actually being given a great gift, but it was so hard to see that as a gift when I was like, well, but then there's this other thing that'll be missing. But they're like, every possibility is really open to you except this one thing. And then what? I don't know why that just made me think of marriage. It wasn't marriage. Marriage was fucking easy. I had no problem getting married. I love who I'm with and I love all of that. But it comes to like, I don't know, mobility. I think of like with Cameron getting epilepsy, there is a part of his independence that's taken away. Can he still do almost anything? Yeah, he sure can. But there are things like his whole purpose, his whole like plan when he became an adult was to join the Navy, like me and like his dad, and that was taken away. And yet he has
the choice of doing that.
The choice of doing that is taken away.
Yeah.
But he has every opportunity, right? There's so many things out there for him still. But having that one small thing taken away felt like just an obliteration of independence, of like, I don't get to choose what I want to do.
And your life goals.
Yeah.
And, like if that was something that you always dreamed about doing and you wanted to follow in your and Garrett's footsteps.
Yeah.
And see the world too.
And
I mean, I'm sure when he thought about joining the Navy, he thought about the stories you've told about living in Japan and living all over the world and being on a ship and all these adventures that you had. And it's like, I want to do that. Yeah. And now he can't because of the epilepsy. And so that had to be a huge, huge loss for him.
Well, and it felt like everything was taken away, which because he just had the one goal, it was very hard to get him to shift to see there's so many other possibilities though. Like that was really hard. Just like for me, when my independence was taken away, it was, but there's so many other possibilities for you now, like that's okay. And I should just say it. It's weird, but honestly, when I got labeled as disabled, okay, when they told me I had a mental disability because I got diagnosed with PTSD, it fucked with me hardcore, you guys. I gotta say, my mental self, like I'm, not to boast, no, I just considered myself extremely intelligent and very aware, and my brain was like everything to me, because I didn't like it that people would judge me for my outer appearance. I'd be like, no. Like I have a lot going on in here that is way better than anything out here. And so I would say things like, don't call me pretty, call me smart or whatever. It's like, I didn't want to be judged by my appearance. Like there was,
because there's a brain there.
There's a whole very active brain that's like super intelligent, problem solving. I've done all these things, but you can't see that from the outside looking in. So when they told me that being diagnosed with PTSD became a mental disability, I about retracted every fucking thing I said. Like that label alone felt like the death of my identity, to know that I was labeled as mentally disabled. I was like, how is that fucking possible?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. And it took me probably 2 years to really digest, get over it, not think about the label. That's why I say labels can be so harmful, whether it's, no matter what the label is, you box yourself in with something. And I haven't thought about it in so long. I don't really consider myself mentally disabled just because I have PTSD. I just know my little isms and quirks about how I see the world and my, views and things that might trigger me.
You have things that actually in the world that trigger that, like
absolutely, yeah,
like I have fireworks and gunshots. If you hear that, loud bangs,
whistles, because they sound like bombs, like whistles coming in,
take you back to
sure,
being in dangerous situations and
the triggers are easier over time, but they are still there. But it's all things that I acknowledge about myself. But just to hear that, to get a label like that, to be diagnosed with something where you thought your superpower was unstoppable, and then somebody goes, oh yeah, but your brain is too damaged. Like now you're disabled mentally. I was like, what the fuck? No. But also, can I get a card hanger in my car so I can park in the handicap for that? They're like, no. It's like, damn, so I get nothing out of that? Just kidding. It's when it sort of changes you that, you know, I had to really sit with the feelings for a long time, and I had to reflect on that. And what does it really mean to me? And do I fucking care that I got a label that nobody will ever see or read? It's not on my face or on my body.
That's a good, I mean, that ties back to what we said in the beginning, is to sit with things.
Yeah.
Because as you sit with them over time, you process, you think about them, because you said
it's not as dramatic or traumatic after time.
Yeah, you took a couple of years to process through all of that, and to probably find a place to, like, it's like, okay, I got this label, but you can almost compartmentalize that particular thing and be like, yeah, but I'm still brilliant.
I'm super brilliant.
I mean, my brain works fine.
Look at me.
Because I have like so many great ideas, and I help people, you know, with this brain, and I absorb knowledge about the things that I care about, like nature and animals and plants and all that kind of stuff, you know.
I think when I got the diagnosis, it had been almost 10 years since the events
that caused the PTSD.
Right. So what was really interesting is like, okay, well, I lived those 10 years. You don't get cured from PTSD. You always have it, right? Mm-hmm. But because I lived without the label for 10 years, and then I got the label, I was like, so wait, what had to process over time is that those 10 years I didn't have the label, I fucking was headstrong, knew who I was, had no doubts. Getting the label made me have doubts, and that it took time to recognize, like, well, wait, but you lived for years and years without having the label, and it didn't affect you. Like, the label shouldn't affect you. Like, that's just something that is in your medical record, and so that they can, I don't know, address me in a certain way. Like, fuck, I don't know.
Treat you.
So
offer you treatment.
Yeah, sure. I get programs and whatever, and you know,
and pay you,
and a disability check, and there you go. But other than that, it's like, well, how else does that really change me? And it doesn't. But it took me so long, because that overview of a medical,
it was such a shock to get that.
Because I fought for the acknowledgement that things happened and that I'm not okay. But then when they're like, you're not okay, I was like, no, wait, I'm totally fine.
You wanted what happened to you acknowledged.
I did. I wanted
because
somebody.
You didn't get it when it happened. You didn't get acknowledgement when it happened.
So true of so many abuses.
You got it like swept under the rug. We're not going to say anything. We're just going to like put you out.
Pretend it didn't happen.
Pretend
Don't
it
act
didn't
like
happen.
It's a big deal. Soldier up. Be good.
Yep.
Soldier up. I wasn't a soldier. I was a sailor. But sailor up. I don't know. But then to have it acknowledged felt like just a moonfall, like just crushing, you know, just absolutely
like this weight of this label.
Yeah. Now I had this new thing I had to deal with. I was like, wait, I was already fucked up before. Now you just told me I'm disabled. I don't know how to feel about this. So using that water element to really reflect things back and see it, you know, what did it mean for me? And this is only my own journey. I have no idea what everybody else is dealing with, but we all deal with the hurts and the pains and like the traumas of stuff in life that has sort of, I don't know, fucked us up.
Sometimes
crushed us. Like just felt
sometimes
like the
really,
moon fell out
really
of the
put us
sky
down
for
in
you.
Like we didn't almost feel like we would recover from it.
Yeah.
For a little while. You know, I think everybody experiences
relationships, jobs, family stuff, children, like all of the devastating things that can happen to us in our life. Water is probably the best element to use when you're going through those super emotionally turmoil, like very in it deep, just I have this like literal, almost from the gut feeling of like, fuck. Like when you say that word with like from the depths of your soul, that it's difficult. That's what water is used for. Step back from it, reflect on it. What can it teach you? If you know that you are just a soul in a human body and that this truly isn't your reality and life goes on after this life for you out of this body, what does this mean for you in your existence for this life? How can it teach you? How can it grow you? What should you do with it? Kat and I often speak about when you find things that are really meaningful to you, just speak out on them. Take those emotions and speak out. Create your own YouTube channel. Create a podcast. Create something. Give it to the world. Put it out there to help others. I mean, I think that that's probably the best use of pain is to help others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
anytime you can help other people, it takes the focus off you. It gives you purpose.
Yeah.
And you realize when you're helping other people that all of a sudden your problems start to shrink, they diminish, they get smaller because, you're rescuing animals or you're helping people that are in worse situations than you are. And there's not only just this good feeling of doing that, but you're also like, God, my life's really, like that problem that I thought was so bad that just was crushing me. I haven't thought about that all day long while I've been, out here
doing the good work.
Yeah, doing the good work. Yeah.
So listen, I know I wrote in this entire second section, but honestly, we talked through all of that through all the other points.
We did. We did do that, didn't we?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes when I'm writing these things, you guys, I try to bring things up so they're very logical, but then Kat and I spin off into 1,000 other things, and we cover shit.
So we end up covering the content, and then we're looking down, going like, "Wait a minute, we talked about that."
It's a good flow of conversation. So the last thing that I would really leave you guys with is the only other tool that I use when times are so hard and shitty and tough and transitions and beginnings and endings and all the things where you're like, you don't know. Something's ending and you don't know. And something's beginning and you're like, I don't know what this holds for me. I always turn to tarot or oracle cards. It is just an ambiguous system. It is truly ambiguous. You give meaning to it. And that can help lead you. And what I really believe is that spirit helps us by helping us with the cards. I do think that there's some divine intervention where they help pull the cards. So if we're looking for the fifth element out of all of this, I would say that using tarot or oracle is a way to interact with spirit. So we went through fire, air, earth, and water, right? But spirit being that fifth divine element, the energy element, however you want to see it, with endings and beginnings, is inviting in something that is outside of ourselves, outside of the elements that we can see, hear, touch, feel, taste.
It's almost like, I almost feel like it's a little bit like we faith, like, and I know faith is like a religious connotations with the word faith. Belief. But when you believe that there is a spirit,
that there's something outside of yourself.
There's something outside of yourself. There's something. There are people there. You have people on the other side that are helping you. You've got, you've got this energy on the other side that's like wants everything that's best for you. I've always gone. I always start pulling cards and doing a lot of. I haven't done. It's been a long time since I've had to do that. But when I was going through, when my last relationship was going through the process of ending, and that process of ending took at least 3 years, where we went back, forth. I went back and forth. I still wanted it to work despite all those signs of Earth telling me move on. It was hard for me to give up because I had invested so much time in it. I was pulling cards every single morning to get just so that I could handle the day, if you will, because it was so hard living with somebody when things are just falling apart and they're really, and you can't fix them, and you're trying to figure out, like, is this it? Do I end it? And what's that going to look like? So I would draw tarot cards every morning to give me a message for the day, something that I could focus on that did not have to do with what was happening in my home, because I needed to go to work and be able to function, and I couldn't sit around at work and think all day about and worry and go in the bathroom and cry when I felt like it, and just ruminate about all the things and the conversations that I would have with him when I would get home or whatever was, because it seemed like every day there was something else that came up that set me off, because he wasn't trying to make things better, and seemed to not really even care if I was upset. And so I was upset a lot because that's what I did.
Because that was her go-to.
Because that was my go-to, right? Like, and so the cards really, really, really helped me. I can see myself in my office at my old house early in the morning when it was still dark outside, pulling cards, pulling tarot cards, pulling an oracle card. I had oracle. I also had an angel, or maybe it was angel cards.
Angel cards,
I had some angel cards, that I pull messages and just ask the universe for a message to, guide me through the day. And I just found it like so helpful. And I used to do that a lot, and I'm happy to say that I haven't had to do that for a really long time.
I was just thinking that where you're like, I haven't done this in forever. I was like, how fucking awesome for you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I haven't,
I love that.
and I sort of miss my tarot cards, but if you don't need your tarot cards, you can put them on a shelf, and then they're always there for you. They're always there whenever you need to go back to them, and they're just waiting for you patiently. Like, I'm here when you need me, girl. I got you.
I love that.
So, card a day is just one card every day. I think I probably pulled a couple of cards. I really don't remember what my process was at the time. I know even when I first moved here, I still, so that relationship ended. And like I said, the breakdown of it probably took over the course of like 3 years from, but then I got here and I moved 1,000 miles away, left everything, sold everything, and just came here with one U-Haul box and, sold my house and came here and started over. And, but still, now that I was out of the relationship and out of that house and we were separated by 1,000 miles, now I needed to process through all the feelings that all the things that I had gone through. It was just.
And how many years was that of processing you needed to do?
Fuck, I've been here 6 years and it probably took me.
No, how many years was your relationship that you had to process all of that? Like that's
my relationship,
10 years of processing, 10 years worth of stuff to process, or?
No, it was longer. That was 15. We were together for 15 years.
15 years worth of stuff to process once you broke away.
From 2003 to 2019, whatever that is, do the math. It was like 15 years. It felt like it was 25, but it was a long time. It was a lot. It was a huge investment, emotionally, financially, in every way. In every way. It was just and the breakdown of it and the giving up on the dreams of it was so incredibly difficult to get through that I'm just glad I'm on the other side of it.
I'm so glad too. Oh my God.
Because you know what?
Voice. I'm going to cry with you.
Because you know what? It was really fucking hard. And
yeah. I'm really glad you're on the other side of it. I'm so fucking glad you're here with me now. I love you so much. And I never knew we were going to become best friends again. I'm really happy about it.
So tarot helped me in those times when I was just feeling like so alone and like there were no answers. And the tarot cards would give me answers and they would give me some hope and they would give me a message. Insight. Yeah. So
I think one of the things that tarot has done for me throughout the years is that sometimes, and tell me if you guys feel this way, but sometimes I feel like I cannot trust my fucking brain. I feel like I can't trust my thoughts. I can't trust my heart. I can't trust my reasoning. And I need tarot to give it to me straight. And then times when I don't trust my own analytical skills of like, here's what's probably going on, because I'm absorbing, not observing. And I know it. I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I need tarot to really bring me back to, hey, here's what's going on. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. Look at this. Yeah. And I would journal about it. I mean, I would get things down and I would find these synchronicities, and those little synchronicities that would get me through with the cards, a certain word. It could be so many things within the tarot. It doesn't have to be the tarot card itself, but it could be the number of the tarot card, imagery in the tarot card, a word that was in the description. But I would find something in it that was like, bam, that hit for today. That was just like the thing. And I didn't even know what the thing was until it appeared to me. And I felt the immediate connection or draw. And I thought, yep, I needed to hear that. Yep, I needed to see that. Yep, I needed to feel that. Tarot gave that to me. Oracle cards, I didn't start until well after all of my troubles. Mm-hmm. And they've been really fun. Because I've used them lightheartedly. I haven't used them for like bigger events that have happened, but I have a trusted tarot that I go back to time and time again. And it's always giving me the things that I need and reflecting back to me situations where if I'm in it too much, it's like, hey, let's pull you back out. Remember what your real life is. You're a soul that never expires and you live like beyond this world. And this is a classroom. You're trying to experience things. It's able to really put me into a perspective and go, oh, okay, everything really is all right. Like this is all temporary and I'm here to learn lessons. So let's just learn the lesson so I don't have to repeat it. It's like, it really can bring me back to grounding myself and calm and focus and like, okay, so where do we go from here? tarot has been one of my best therapists ever, you know, like just being able to have that as a tool that I can go to whenever I want. When I need it, I can carry the little mini deck with me. I take it with me on play. Like I journey with it where I'm like, just in case. Like my husband knows that I pack my little tarot card deck in my stuff. Sometimes when we're out on hikes, he's like, this looks like a good place to pull out your tarot. I'm like, I love that he's thinking about that. You know, he's just like, we're in an undisclosed place where like nobody's going to happen upon us. Cause he's always, I think he's afraid that I'll get embarrassed if somebody sees me with my tarot cards out. I'm like, I literally do not care. I would love for somebody to be like, oh my God, are you reading tarot here? I'm like, yeah. So
I just flashed back to our trip to Sedona, and we were on the side of that hill.
Yeah.
We're up on the side of the hill.
In the vortex.
The vortex. And we pulled tarot cards up there. Yeah.
Just all the little places. Like, I do love that for my mini deck ever since they created them. I'm like, that is so cool because it's not as bulky.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to have those little messages every single time I pull something from it. And, you know, I have been in places and times in my life when I get a tarot card and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? What am I supposed to get from that? And that's just when I literally cannot pull myself back from the situation and look broader and look bigger. So that's where, you know, water tells us to reflect, like, okay, pull back and reflect. So using all of the 4 elements when you're going through changes and transitions in your life can help you at least start picking apart the places of where you could act, not act, reflect, speak things out, ground yourself, feel rooted in your body to feel strong. Like it can play into how you find your power in a situation where you feel like you have none.
Yeah.
And tarot and oracle really help with that as a last resort or as bringing spirit in. And
you know what? If you've never used tarot cards or oracle cards, don't feel like you have to master them. You can just, like, if you're interested in it, of course, just pull the card and read from the
fucking book.
Read from the book. You don't have to learn. You don't have to learn and memorize the card and know what they are. Read from the book. They usually give you a couple different words that you can keywords exactly, and something in there will resonate with whatever you're thinking at that time or going through at that time. But don't feel like you have to learn the whole system of tarot, because that can feel really overwhelming.
Yeah. Sometimes the most powerful magic is the simplest, you know, just take a breath, get a card, light a candle, and sit with it and just see what comes up. I mean, I love doing that in times that are really fucking tough.
Yes.
Trying to just be. And part of that is just being present. You're just like, I'm waiting. I'm just here. Whatever pops into your mind, whatever comes through, whatever you think of, and write it down. Write it down. Yes.
So until next time, witches, give yourself grace as you move through life's ups and downs. Keep your heart open and your rituals at the ready. And we will see you in the in-between.
In the in-between.
Until next time. Bye, witches.